Hello and welcome to another video. Around a month ago, my family and I went on a trip to Spain for roughly 2 weeks. During this trip, I spent some time birding and ended up seeing plenty of different bird species, including 11 lifers. The morning after we arrived in Spain, I headed to my first birding location of the trip, which was a protected national park within walking distance from where we were staying, called Las Salinas de San Pedro del Pinatar, which mainly consisted of salt flats and mud baths. When I reached the reserve, I peered over a small bridge that overlooked a channel of water and saw my first bird of the trip, which was this juvenile glossy ibis. Shortly after, I noticed something emerge from the reeds in the distance, which turned out to be my first lifer of the trip, and was another juvenile, only this time a black-crowned night heron. Some of you eagle-eyed viewers probably noticed this adult bird appear in the bottom right-hand corner. After nice looks at the night heron, I crossed over to the other side of the road, where there was a flurry of bird activity. As I carried on along the path, I continued to see more new species, like these little terns. Eventually, I reached a curve in the path, so I followed it for a while, and on the way, I picked up a crested lark and a kestrel. After around 10 minutes of walking, I made it to a bird hide, where there was a large variety of terns, waders, and other species. After about half an hour in the bird hide, I decided to head back to our accommodation, as the temperature was quickly rising. In the morning, I went back to the reserve, where it was slightly quieter, but I still managed to see a few of the same species as the day before, and also some new ones. That evening, I went to a new part of the reserve that I hadn't been to yet, which was the mud baths, where I continued to see some new birds for the trip, including an unexpected lifer on the walk before I got there. These birds are originally from South America, however were released for the first time in Murcia, Spain in 1975 and have since become an established invasive species there. A day later, while travelling, we stopped at a coastal village called Punta Brava, where there were plenty of hirundines, like swallows and house martins. But the highlight was this lifer, red-rumped swallow. My next birding outing wasn't until a few days later, when I went to Marina del Carmolí, which was a small marina just north of Punta Brava, where I saw the red-rumped swallow a few days prior. The first part of the marina that I explored was the area around this little car park, where I saw two lifers, the first being this whiskered tern. Just as I was about to move on to the next part of the marina, my second lifer of the day emerged from the reeds in front of me. A male Montagu's harrier. After about 40 minutes exploring around the little car park, I moved on to the next part of the marina, which was a small path that ran alongside the coast and the marina. Before I got there, I had to take a short walk through the village, where I saw some urban species. When I reached the path, two birds flushed in the distance, which turned out to be another lifer, stone curlew. Other than the stone curlew, it was fairly quiet, apart from a flyby greenshank and a Montagu's harrier, this time a female. On the journey back to San Pedro del Pinatar, where we were staying, I got a very brief view of a roller. Sadly, this is the only footage I got. But here's a consolation photo. Over the next few days, I didn't go on any actual birding trips, but I still managed to see lots of species while travelling. So here's a compilation of those species. Towards the last few days in Spain, I went on my last birding outing of the trip to a protected national park, which was a coastal mountain called Massís del Montgó. My main goal at this location was to see a blue rock thrush, a species that prefers high elevation rocky habitats like these. On my way towards the mountain, I picked up a spotted flycatcher and a Eurasian blackbird. When I arrived at the mountain, I began to travel up the steep path. The first few hundred meters were quiet, apart from this raven. But as I began to increase in elevation, I started to see more, like this peregrine falcon that's chasing a kestrel. Suddenly, I noticed a bird flitting around on the cliff above me, so I quickly got my camera on it, and it turned out to be my target bird, the blue rock thrush. Despite the name, these birds aren't actually a thrush, but instead are a member of the Old World flycatcher family. After a great but brief encounter with my target bird, I began to make my way back down the mountain, en route seeing my last new bird species of the day, and another lifer, a screaming frenzy of alpine swifts. On the morning we were leaving Spain, I saw my final bird species of the trip, which was a warbler species that I believe to be melodious, but if you think it's an olivaceous warbler or otherwise, let me know in the comments. That brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching.